be in the present. Let's go back to the past. So I use these gifts to bring out the energetic blockages, cords from the past. Or say you're 40 years old, you wouldn't be able to tell me, you wouldn't even know what you're holding. So I go back and pick up those. I would say, tell me what happened at age 18. And you would be like, oh, and then we kind of build in a pattern and we see with the guidance, and then I guide you how to release it. I do the energetic clearance with the various tools I have. Again, very intuitively led.
Today's guest is Shillpi Joshi, a modern-day spiritual alchemist on a quest to transmute life's experiences into profound wisdom and enlightenment. With 22 years of experience as a psychic and a clairvoyant guide, she leads seekers on a transformative journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth, exploring the alchemy of the soul, unlocking the secret of inner transformation and empowerment, inspiring others to awaken their true potential and embark on the magic of spiritual alchemy in their lives, holding the space for you while you're leading yourself to discover your light within. Welcome, Shillpi.
Hi, Anita. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So I'm really excited for our conversation, and I can't wait to get stuck in. So what is one of the most courageous things you have done after reading that out?
Anita, we do a lot of courageous things. It's a journey, this life, 44 years of being into existence. But I think one of the most courageous things I have done is to be a seeker on this spiritual path and use these, then eventually these gifts to help others. So
Yeah.
to be able to channel while silencing your mind and just pass on the guidance is a huge responsibility. So that's one of the most courageous things I've done, walking this path.
Wow, absolutely. So what took you on a journey of being a modern day spiritual alchemist?
Again, a journey. I began actually working on myself from a very, very young age because I, again, have a sister who's got some medical issues. So the fragility of life stepped in, the concept stepped in very early into my life. As a child, I would go to the hospitals with her for her blood transfusions. So you see people suffering and the
Mm.
attachments, and somehow I do know now with the so many years of work that this is obviously coming from a past lifetime as well. But
Mm.
that question, who are we, is this it, where is this leading to, why am I here, came in really early. So I was looking at my poems that I've written a couple of, when I was 17 or 18, and that's where I've addressed those questions. And then began my journey into looking into, you hear God, you hear that universal power. So I remember as young as 6 years old, I would have visions and I would have a lot of conversations with that one. I remember I would be in the bathroom and constantly having random conversations with, now I know, the source, because I'm
Mm.
not religious, I'm very spiritual. So the source. And, then as you grow older, the life becomes harder, the questions. And then I got married, more family to come in, more complexities. I
Yes.
personally felt that the life that we are all living is not, it's just the surface. There's something beneath. I started looking further. The questions to the universe and the source became, like longer, more profound. I was in grade 10 and I came across this book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very powerful book, hardly understood at that time. Even now, when I go through it at every stage in my life, it just kind of, beautifully brings out a different meaning. So I think I was always on this path, but then, when you get stuck, I
Mm.
personally reached a point in my life where I felt stuck. The wisdom or the knowledge, I wouldn't say wisdom, I would say the knowledge that I received from the society, the schooling, basically the system stopped giving me answers. It stopped fitting in. And
Yes.
for me, I know when I'm on the right path, in sync with my soul's purpose, when the life is flowing freely. Of course, there are challenges, there are things to deal with. But it
Yeah,
has,
always.
yeah, but it needs to free it has to flow freely. You
Mm.
are in bliss, you are supported, you have the tools to handle it. I reached a point where I realized there's more to it. I haven't really, I really don't, I'm not equipped to handle it. And that's when my journey began of, really asking for guidance. Earlier, the conversations were more about this is happening. Okay,
Mm.
you're there, I'm there. More of building that, relationship with the stranger you see on the road,
Yeah.
smiling, acknowledging, talking. Now it began like, hello, do you want to be friends? I need your help.
Yeah. That's
And
yeah.
yeah, so it began that way. And then again, the relationship built up. I started hearing more, I started seeing more. And as I did, I think, I had a lot of profound experiences which were more, I could see the other side. I started hearing. There's lot of guidance that was coming through.
Mm. Wow. Yeah. So tell me more about your work about awakening. What does that involve?
So, awakening, we all have very different concepts of awakening.
Mm.
People may mostly talk about awakening to enlightenment or your awakening. So for me, the reason I branded my work as awakening with Shilpi is basically awakening to your own inner self,
Yeah, wow.
awakening to your inner light, awakening to, reaching a stage where you are actually in sync with your soul's purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that soul's purpose, I always give very, very vivid examples and say that's the highway that you meant to be on and this life is meant to be on. But unfortunately, with all the roles we play, as
Yeah.
Shakespeare said, we are kind of lost in the bylanes with all the drama playing out. And we forget that that's not the actual path that will take us on this journey. So we're kind of wasting time. And so awakening with Shilpi gives you that nudge, pulls you out of that bylanes and say, honey, that's not the way. Come back to the highway, have your eye tabs on, focus on the highway. The rest is just happening with you. But
Wow.
you're not happening with that. So come back to the highway.
That's brilliant. So tell me, what are the most profound transformations you've witnessed in those you've guided, if you possibly can?
Long journey of 22 years. And, I joke to myself and I always say, when I have those conversations, I always say to the universe, I said, I asked you to guide me. And all these, and then you gave me a purpose to help these others, which I willingly took up because it gave a further meaning to my purpose. But this is collateral damage. And of course, jokes apart,
Yes.
lot of profound transformations, and that's what keeps me going, Anita, because self work in itself is exhausting.
Mm, I
It's
bet.
never a clean slate. It's like those, it's an onion with the layers never finishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
On top of it, to obviously be a mom, a mother, all the roles,
Hmm.
role playing, and then being a mentor to guiding others was a hard one. But when I saw these transformations and when the messages started pouring in, those smiles, those wedding invitations and thank yous and those
Yeah.
hugs, I realized that this was leading me to a bigger purpose. So the purpose of life is not earning, being a mom, being those roles again. That's just a part of it. The
Yes,
purpose is
absolutely.
to actually shine that light to others on the same highway who are lacking that light till they're shy. You lend your light, or you kind of, I personally believe, rather than lending it, you build your light so bright that it kind of overflows and it shines it on others' path as well until they find their way back,
Oh, love that.
right? And
Beautiful.
so few of the other things, there was a time when I was only doing readings, and it would talk about your purpose, what you're meant to do, what is coming for you in your work, in your career, blah blah blah, until I had this young kid who came to me, who's 28 years old, came with an issue of having literally used to having different relationships every single day and not
Mhm.
being able to fix at a place. And initially, I was a bit, when he came in and he would give his details, I was like, wow, wow, you know what? I'm past that stage, and spare me the details. And then he said, no, ma'am, but you need to listen, because you know what? I am suffering. And I said, every time you come to me with the same issue. And so it's like, you take me to the fire and we are firefighting, but why is the fire there every day in the same, in this,
Mm.
why is it still there? I mean, my question to you is that. So I said, I am not going to see you for the next 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, he comes to me and says, all right, can you tell me, why do I land up lighting a fire every time? I said, thank you. It's a brilliant question. Nor that I wasn't really sure whether I was really on that level of my journey to be able to handle that. But if the guides had brought in that question, I knew it was time.
Yes.
Now we kind of worked on it, to him then going into a relationship, stable relationship for 3 years, to then sending me a wedding card. uh, Bliss, absolute bliss. Give me
Mm.
millions of dollars and it wouldn't be give me that kind of peace and a content sleep when somebody is happy on the other side of the globe because you were able to shine your light when theirs was dim.
Absolutely. And that's so important as well. It's so important to heal and reconnect with your authentic self. And I think that's what you're saying. Absolutely. That's absolutely beautiful. What can the seekers expect? Can you walk us through a typical session with you?
Absolutely. See, Anita, now, like I said, been 22 years.
Yeah.
So we all evolve with our work. I personally feel that, so the readings have gone from, right from, initially just, so I read faces, I connect with the energies, I can connect with pictures. I do not do tarots because I somehow don't need it anymore. I mean, I've never
Excellent.
been needing to use it. Right from when I was 18, I could read pictures. I had a very, very intuitive feeling about people. So a typical reading would be, it's a modern day world. People are not very attuned. They just want quick solutions. So it could be as simple as what's coming in for my business, what could be the best strategy, to what could be the best logo, to matrimonials, to here are the three
Mm.
pictures. What do you see? Now, when I read for anybody, I always tell them to remember, because it took me 22 years to be out here and open, because I needed to be sure about my ethics. I'm extremely ethical about how I use my gifts, because
Absolutely.
somebody is making decisions based on how you're guiding them. So this gift had empowered me. It's empowered me. So I did not, back. I'm an Indian, going back to the roots. While I was on my journey, I met a couple of gurus, couple of guides. Oh, you do this is coming, wear this stone, da 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 da. And I realized that takes away the power. So my job is to empower you to be able to make more your own decisions. Again, an alchemist basically transforms the energy that you're in, you're stuck, to giving you, that power to realize, empower you again, lead you to a space, hold the space for you while you heal, regain your power to be able to make your own decisions, because we all have that inner GPS. It's just that we are lost, right? Because there's so much going on. Life is more challenging for some people. Now, a typical reading is as simple as, am I going to win this case? What's happening? Two, we go, some people go like to go a bit further. So we have an energetic reading where we go back to your past. Anyway, an entire reading does involve a bit of past, present, and then what's coming up. Now, when I say
Mm.
I don't take away your power, I always say whatever is coming in is the probability of what you are, manifesting in the future. It's not set in stone. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
what comes in for present, present is past, future. You're not happy in the present, let's go back to the past. So I use these gifts to bring out the energetic
Mm.
blockages, cords from the past. You cannot tell me a 40, say you're 40 years old, you wouldn't be able to tell me, you wouldn't even know what you're holding. So I
Mhm.
go back and pick up those, I would say, tell me what happened at age 18. And you would be like, oh, and then we kind of build in a pattern and we see with the guidance, and then I guide you how to release it. I do the energetic clearance with the various tools I have, again, very intuitively led. So it's energetic clearing, energetic healing, could be a simple reading. I also do a one-to-one mentorship, so where I hold hands, where I have people coming to me once a week. I bring them, I empower them again, bring them to the path of rediscovering your own self, going within. Because once you've done that, you've awakened GPS and a GPS in us. We all have it. The birds do not need to have an alarm, right? The
Yeah,
ants do not have an
absolutely.
alarm. It's
Mhm.
morning, it's night, it's summers, it's
Mm,
winters. Let's collect food for the winters, blah, blah, blah. It's winters, we'll hibernate. Nothing.
mm,
Unfortunately, us humans with the most brains have kind of lost that touch to the. I thought we could do even better with the
mm.
ability we have. We've reached the moon. So we
That's
haven't reached the inner depths of within.
absolutely, and it's an ongoing process. Absolutely. How do you inspire others to awaken their true potential?
Bring them back to themselves.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Bring them back. If it was one sentence, the
Hmm.
answers to whatever you're looking for, you're stuck, you're sad, that person is
Mm,
being mean to you, the whole world is being mean to you, is within you.
absolutely.
So if you
Absolutely.
were to go within, just transform that energy that you're vibrating at. Everything around you has no option but to shift because you no more the same vibration anymore.
Absolutely. So, what do you find most rewarding about being a spiritual alchemist and guide? 'Cause that's a fully loaded question, I'm sure.
Bliss, the bliss
Mm,
it brings. If you're talking about me, in relevance to me, from going out all there in the world, getting triggered, getting angry,
yes.
being told. I remember when I
Uh-huh.
was about to, get married, my father said, beta, you are too naive. You say black is black for you, gray is gray for you, white is white for you. Can we sugarcoat it a bit? Because you know how it is when you get married, you don't. And I said, Papa, so we were born innocent, we were
Hmm.
born
Absolutely.
naive, and that's the true essence. And then I unlearned that and learned to be shrewd. And then when I'm 65, I go and pray for my sins and want to unlearn that. Then am I not complicating my life? And I
Absolutely.
remember him smiling, and he obviously had no answers to it.
Mm,
Now I know what it meant. So I've kept my life. Of course, I've lost relationships in the process.
hmm.
I It's a very, very lonely path. I do get called weird, strange. I do not really go out and socialize. The fun that was fun when you were younger, going
Yes.
out, partying, drinking, isn't in alignment with my body anymore. So
Absolutely.
those friends find it hard to accept the new me.
Mm,
I've lost relationships. It's a very, very lonely path. At the same time, if you were to, like I say, you always need to ask. So when you ask and say, align me to people who are on a similar vibration, you wouldn't
hmm.
find hundreds, but you would find one or two.
Yes,
And then,
absolutely.
yeah, and when you're on a highway, you need to get, most important thing, Anita, you need to stop getting attached to the fellow walkers because you are basically slowing down either their speed or your speed when you link
Mhm.
yourself to somebody.
Wow. Loving that. Loving that.
So you enjoy the moment, help each other, shine the light on the path for the people who are
Mm.
behind you for some reason, but keep going.
Really love that. Yeah. What are the books that have helped you on your journey? Or can you recommend any books for people
Absolutely. So many, so
to?
many. And I am a very old school, so need a book to be held in the hands.
Yes. Same here.
Unfortunately, nothing else works for me. As I've got this. I'm reading "You Were Not Born to Suffer" by Dr. Blake, by Blake DeBoer.
Uh,
Amazing, amazing book. But if I was to recommend, this is my latest read, but few beautiful books. There's an author called Rusbe Barucha. He's an Indian gentleman. He's written about 19 books. I would say Fakir by him is one of the most beautiful books I've read. Channeled. It's a conversation between the guide on the other side, who's only visible to the mentee,
wow.
the mentor and the mentee, and the constant conversations about life and its challenges. Beautiful one there, Your Soul's Plan by Dr. Robert Schwartz. Absolutely beautiful. I
Mm.
started my journey with Dr. Brian Weiss's books. Again, amazing, because that made me realize, being a psychiatrist, he had some experiences during regressing his patients. which
Yeah,
he
I'm
decided
sure.
to actually document.
Mm-hmm.
And I read one of his first books when I was 19, and that's when I realized events that had been happening with me, the conversations and the things that I was seeing is not doesn't happen with everybody. You know how it is. You think everybody sees these things and listens and hears and has the gift.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so, yes, a few of these. Lately, I'm, reading more into breath work. So
Mm.
they kind of keep shifting, but these are the, few Bibles that you would have to read to understand, have a
Mm.
basic understanding. Like Your Soul's Plan talks about why are we born with certain challenges with our family, the soul family. So it gives a beautiful perspective into your questions as to why we are here,
Mm.
why is this happening, and it changes the whole energy of your existence from blaming to
Mm.
why to acceptance, acknowledging, and taking it up as a challenge to transform it.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Yeah. And that nicely goes on to my next question. Any daily practices, rituals to practice mindfulness and gratitude every day?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Extremely important. This is, we go to the gym, we eat the
Mm-hmm.
best of foods, physical hygiene, the body takes it. But all this is the work for the soul. The soul is the
Uh-huh.
one that carries on for lifetimes. This is the body only for this lifetime, which you want to look good, put on makeup, want to go to the gym, be
Mm.
slim, and always critical looking into the mirror. This is not nice, this is a mark, this is this, blah blah blah.
Mm.
Hello, let's thank the body, gratitude, and speak to the soul. What are we doing for the soul? So spiritual hygiene is extremely important, way more important than the physical, because the physical body will stop in this lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful. When
Mm.
we are alive, it's like Shillpi, so and so. The moment a person passes away, it's like the body is here.
Mm-hmm.
The body is, ready for funeral, cremation.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a, like change.
Mm.
So what is permanent is the soul that carries on the
Absolutely.
work. So the daily practices, gratitude, extremely important, combined with forgiveness. Because if you need to
Mm.
work on your energy at the moment, you be carrying a lot of stuff, grudges from the background. I, of course, have done that work. Now I sort it on an everyday basis. I do not want to carry any luggage on the soul anymore. So
Absolutely. I love that. Mm.
so forgiveness is extremely important. While you forgive, again, that's a lifetime, that's a process of a lifetimes. But you've begun. So I say, don't worry, it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
When you begin, that's the time for you. So once you
Absolutely.
begin, forgive.
Definitely. So, what is that? Nicely goes on to my next question now. What is the most important lesson you've learned over your life so far? Big question.
Oh, that's a big one. And that's like an entire lifetime of 45 years put into many things here. But in nutshell, if I was to say, I would say, come back to yourself.
Mm.
It is
Absolutely.
my journey. The rest are the roles that are being played by the other souls in your soul family.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how you do, these will change over the next lifetime if you haven't awakened yourself and reached moksha, as we
Wow.
say. So I would say, come back to yourself, focus on yourself, be kind to yourself, because at the end of the day, the world, everybody's acting out of their own upbringing, conditioning, fears. So, my most important lesson is sit with yourself, surrender to that ultimate source, that power that runs the entire universe,
Wow. Yes.
and have faith in that source and in yourself. Build that connection
Mm-hmm.
with the source every single day with gratitude, with whatever prayers you want to say. Ask what you need. Do not, and once you have faith and surrender, there should be no scope of fear. So if there's fear, you know that you need to do more work on yourself.
Oh, that's brilliant. What a brilliant way to put that. Thank you for doing that. So, what resources do you recommend, daily tools, tips to anyone that wants to start looking within and having their own awakening?
It's the same thing again, Anita. This daily practices
Mm-hmm.
comes back to sorting your past. I think sorting your past, if it's a very short question where I need to tell you and it helps somebody, then from the past, please work on forgiveness. It's
Okay.
such an easy thing. Release. I know, easier said than done, but you kind of again release all those grudges, unsaid words. You don't need to really go back. I do a lot of workshops on forgiveness and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to, you don't have to go back and say sorry. It's all energetic, so release it. Why are you carrying that luggage? He said this, I said this, that happened. That's past.
Absolutely.
It all works parallelly. Forgiveness, gratitude has to be done every single day. I wake up, my first thought is gratitude. And then also, when you're surrendering and asking for guidance, one of the most important things is to be looking out for signs, because the
Mm.
universe speaks to you in its own language.
Yes, absolutely.
So, signs could be being led to somebody like me who will guide you, to a book, to somebody who's speaking the same language as you or going through a similar problem as you, to a show, to a podcast. These are signs. And once you receive a sign, you follow it. Surrender, follow, acknowledge. Same routine. Forgive, surrender, follow, gratitude, ask.
Wow. Yeah,
Repeat.
that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, Shilpi, where can the listeners find you online? What's your website?
It is www.awakeningwithshilpi.com. Same Insta handle. And that's my email as well. It's the same handle on the Facebook as well.
Okay.
Not very good with social media, but I'm out there. I personally believe if you're meant to find me, our paths shall cross.
Ah, that's brilliant. Absolutely.
Just go within. I
Yeah.
mean, way out is in. It is, in nutshell, that is what it is. Anything that you are facing, sit with yourself and see what is coming up for you.
Absolutely. So, thank you for sharing your courageous journey and your deep, insightful wisdom and knowledge with us today. And by doing so, I know you have helped so many others. Shilpi Joshi.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, we are all about Create the Courage to Be Fearless podcast here. So, what is your definition of courage?
Anita, I would say for courage, complete surrender and complete faith in the universe and your higher self, the higher source, whosoever you believe in. And then just kind of letting it lead you on this journey called life. That's courage for me.